All right. One Chimp and Friends getting started here with special guests tonight, Rebecca from Grimsby Town, but actually in Bodrum, and Jake, my boy from Wales. And we got Peter here. Welcome everybody to Two Chimps Typing, but One Chimp and Special Friends, hosted on Anchor FM and YouTube. How is everybody? Rebecca, how the fuck are you? It's great to see you.
I'm good, dude. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. It's great to see. It's good to see that motherhood and marriage and all that stuff hasn't. Yeah, it's been pretty nice. Jake, how are you?
Nice to meet you finally as well. I've never really met you before, have I?
Hi, Jake.
All right, how are you? You good?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Yeah. So George joining us as well, or?
George says he's eating dinner, so his wife might have him at the table right now, and sometimes he eats dinner during the podcast. And Peter Murphy joining us, sans video.
Hey guys, what's going on? 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 How are you?
Huh? How are you, Peter?
I'm great.
Seems pretty normal. Everything looks pretty normal.
Yeah. Is that a woman?
Yeah. Do you recognize her? This is sometimes chimps are also women, Peter. It happens that
is it something I said?
Is this?
I think that's my.
Is she human resources?
No. Listen. This has nothing to do with our job and nothing to do with government surveillance. So I can assure you, Rebecca is, yeah. It's perfectly legit. Do you recognize her? Does she bear a resemblance to, if you
Rebecca, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Sorry, hang on. I thought something, no, never mind. Peter Murphy, my name is.
Yeah.
Sorry. How are you? Good to see you.
You thought you were Muravet.
Sorry, I thought you were someone else. I thought. Never mind, right?
I could be.
That's right.
No. You couldn't be. Because that would. No. You couldn't be because that would mean you'd still be in the basement.
Yeah. Just removing the mask now.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see everybody. Like I said, George is eating dinner, and there's a high probability that with the baby in the high chair and a very strong-willed wife, he might be at the table without any technological devices nearby. Might be that one time where they let's just have a family dinner. Can we just do that?
Can we just do that for once? Jake, how are you? I like your robe.
I'm a bit. It's just started raining, so I got caught in it. So
we had a blizzard in Denizli yesterday.
Yeah, it's -0 over there.
Yeah, and now it's sunny today. It's strange. I don't know if I'm coming or going.
Oh, it's a bit all over the place.
It was interesting. We had snow, covered the mountains.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah,
it's always quite cold in Denizli in March, isn't it?
Well, not this cold. Not in the 7 years I've lived here have we had snow that I can recall this late. I mean, it's already spring, so.
Yeah.
And Rebecca, you're in Bodrum, is it? Or?
Yeah, I'm in lovely sunny Bodrum right now.
What's the temperature there?
Rebecca and Martin used to work together.
We all,
Well, we all did.
Yeah. So not together, right?
That's right.
Wait, Rebecca, did I work with you?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
What does that mean?
But we lived together.
She was working.
We lived together, yeah.
We lived together. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. I hope that we would talk about that tonight, because once George joins us, it's going to be 5 of us who all worked at the same language school, which shall remain unnamed.
Yes.
And we've all had we're all survivors. This is a survivor group. So if you look,
take a knee, bitches, take a knee.
If you
I don't know about surviving. It was an easy, but same for you guys. But teaching English was nice.
Yeah,
it's a good job.
Great until they steal your passport.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. And
Jake,
No, it's a
To the
good job.
school
It's
to
a
get
good
mine
job.
back.
I'll gotta be honest, I miss it. I feel like you can't have more of an impact than teaching, to be honest. Like, do you know what I mean? Really, you can't. Yeah.
so,
Social work. Yeah. Go on.
Idawan, Rebecca, which of course you know quite well. Idawan became part of the lads for a while back in the
Yeah.
day.
Idawan.
You and I drug him out there, and then he came back out and started hanging with us. And we used to get in a lot of good trouble together, and sometimes bad trouble. Me and Jake have our stories. The mafia.
I know. I remember. I was thinking the mafia story.
Yeah,
God.
yeah, the mafia.
Yeah, we
story.
got beat up pretty bad by the Turkish
Was-
Well,
mafia.
you did. You
Was
did.
that in the
Very
Baron
good.
Club?
I took that a guy's
well, you were lucky. I got a bottle to the head. So
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
yeah.
guys,
You did have
at
a
least
bloody
my
lip.
stories, at least my stories are like fictional, like completely made up. But like all the stuff you talk about, like happened to you.
Oh, I know. And then the guy was shot in the face like a week later.
Oh yeah,
And
the same
died.
guy who was
Yeah.
The face, not the face.
yeah,
Yeah.
the same guy who kind of like
And
was
his
the gang of the
girlfriend was
people
our
who beat us
student.
up. He got shot a couple of weeks after.
No, it's like
Nothing to
less
do with
than a
us,
week.
obviously.
Less than a week.
But
Yeah.
yeah, nothing to do with us.
Yeah. But
Promise.
Jake was paranoid,
Sure.
man. I'm telling you what,
Oh,
Jake,
I was.
because the
That's what
police.
Because we
said-
got
Jake
into
went-
beef with the guy and then he gets shot a week later. If you're a copper, you're gonna think,
Right.
all right, let's question these lads. Like, do you know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah, he
Rebecca.
came to the school the next morning and complained to our guy there that these teachers, they come to my club, they cause the problem every time. And the guy, we'll call him A, was like, really? Our teachers causing problems at your class? Like he just couldn't put it together that we were
Yeah.
the roughnecks that. But
Yeah.
Rebecca remembers the story that when we were there, remember that big bouncer guy?
Do I remember?
Yeah.
I was paralytic, I think.
Were you involved?
There was one incident one night where I hung Rebecca's purse on a table that these two girls were using, and the girls were upset that we hung our jackets and purse there. And this huge, like, Turkish wrestler came and was like, you have to move. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. And I would like to
That's
say
how we
that-
always get in fights, Martin. We
Yeah.
talk
I'm
about this.
American. I
That's
am
right.
an American.
Yeah.
I
Well,
have
actually,
at
I
least
told
3
him I was
bases
from
just down the road.
California. And as soon as he saw my driver's license from California, he's like, you are from I love California. And then he was like basically telling the girls, fuck off then. They're good. They're good where they're at. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. But yeah, I'd like to say we were chest to chest, except that this guy was 2 meters. So I was like face to his chest. And but I knew that he only had about 20 or 30 good seconds in him before he would be like out of the fight. Like I knew that. I was reasonably sure I had more stamina than he did.
So you
So-
could outrun
Martin,
him.
you never back down.
Never. That's my problem. But I managed.
Turkish.
I have fucking fantastic tactics when it comes to fighting in nightclubs. This one guy.
So did
this one-
Jake was the peacemaker. He like tried to separate and then promptly he was smacked in the back of his head. with one of our
I
own
tried to
beers.
break it up, but yeah, I got smashed in the head.
I remember a
I don't like
nightclub.
fighting.
We both had bloody noses, but I was out in the street
Yeah.
laughing. I was like, "Is that all you got?" I was
I
like,
remember
a
in a
crazy
nightclub,
man, yeah.
I had two big encounters in nightclubs in Turkey. There's a heroic one, and then there's kind of a funny one. I'll tell the funny one first. The funny one, I was friends with the bouncers, and this guy starting on me in the club, and I said, and like he was a pretty serious dude. And I said, all right, you want to take this outside? I'll fucking take it outside. Let's go outside. So I fucking, marched outside, and everyone's like, Peter, don't fucking do it. You're going to die. I'm like, I'm fine. I marched outside, and he was following me. And as he was coming, I turned to the bouncers, my friend. I was like, this guy's trying to kick my ass. When he comes out, I'm going to go back in, and you stop him from coming back in. And the other guy comes out, I was like, where is he? And I just turned and went back in, and he went to follow me, and the bouncer just stopped him, and I ran back up the stairs. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's clever.
we got in trouble every time we went into that place. Sometimes we were in there less than 5 minutes before. And that night with Jake and I, like after we had the little dust up inside the place, they were trying to push us down the stairs. And we were already well lit from being down at Happy Rock or what was that place called? Rainbow underneath.
Rainbow, yeah.
Yeah, we were well lit already, and the stairs were kind of moist with the sweat and the residue.
They were like those emergency fire stairs. So when like it was quite sharp and nasty.
She remembers better, and she was there. Hey, how about that time Heather and I and you, we all went out? That was good times too. So there was this teacher who was leaving because she, like so many of us, she didn't agree with the environment there, and really Turkey wasn't a great fit for her, but certainly that school wasn't a great fit for her. So she decided, before I leave and fuck off back to Canada or wherever the hell she was from, I want to have one good night out with you two.
Oh, yeah, we got so drunk.
She got herself so drunk. So what happened was, again, we pre-lubed down. Yeah, we pre-lubed down at Rainbow, and then she was like, let's go up there. I want to go up there. She was feeling loosey-goosey. So we went up there, and I remember Rebecca and I shared this gigantic like fruit drink. Yeah. And we were sucking that down like it was lemonade, but she was already well lit, this poor girl. So she tapped out. She pulled the chute, tapped out, and left. And me and Rebecca stayed there, and we finished our drink and had a good time, whatever. And then we started walking home. And we got all the way to the photography studio, which is right by the football park, not very far away. And all of a sudden we could hear somebody saying, Martin, Rebecca, Martin. And we turned around, we were like, what the fuck? And there was somebody, a man's voice calling our name. And we went back to the little photo studio there, and he's like, your friend, she came here and she is here. And we looked, and there in the garden was Heather, sprawled out, passed out on the garden. And there was a dog. The guy's dog was like licking her, And but the guy, good on him, he gave us a ride home in his Porsche. He and his friend, they gave us a ride back to the flat. And when we got back to the flat, me and Rebecca carried her upstairs, which was no small feat because she was a big girl. And we knew that we were going to have to do babysitting duty through the night. And then as we're carrying upstairs, she's like, that man, he sexually assaulted me and he's touching me and blah, blah, blah. And we were like, Rebecca and I, we were like, that was the dog. That was the dog that was doing that too. That wasn't the man. The man, trust me, the man wasn't trying to get you, but the dog maybe was trying to get you. You tasted good to the dog. So yeah, and then sure enough, she like threw up. We nursed her through the night like you do, And yeah, we've all had our experiences at that club. That was definitely a hell of a place to get in trouble for.
I'll be honest with you, like Turkey nightlife is not the best. I don't know, maybe you guys disagree, but like people are just like Turkey is very like macho culture, and people don't really want to talk too much, like in British or American, but like people just talk like freely to each other. But in Turkey, you have your groups. Yeah, and if you ever so much as like even come close to a group, to go to the bar or whatever, the people are like, oh, you know what I mean? It's very hostile. I don't know why people just need to chill out a bit more.
That's where the challenge in the nightclub is, like, because like in Dublin anyway, I know for a fact if you have like a few €100 on you in Dublin, basically you can just do whatever the fuck you want, And if you've got like say like maybe over $1,000 on you in New York, the night never fucking ends. You know what I mean? It's that easy there. Like I remember one time in New York, we were in Greenwich Village, and like we just met these guys and they offered us something, and before we knew it, we're back in their apartment all night doing something until like 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And
Viewed,
sorry, I got
viewed
cold.
through a different lens in
And
Greenwich Village.
but in Turkey, you're right. It is really boring. But when you get that good night out here, oh boy, is it fucking good. And you remember it, you know? And you remember it like. So I agree with you, but like there's a challenge. Yeah.
What was the name of the other the bar that we used to use?
Imagine?
Martin, do you remember the night where
Imagine?
we actually left without paying the bill?
Was it Imagine? Wait, was it Imagine or was it yeah, where was that place? Oh, is Eat and Joy. Wasn't it?
Yeah, that.
Yep, Eat and Joy.
I hated that place.
Is that still
remember,
open?
that's the
No,
story
new
I've been
place
telling
now.
these guys. I've been telling these guys the story about the night that you were leaving and Idawan was broken up over it. And you know, fairness to him, you know, but then there was that tag along, that guy that followed us home. And you were like, yeah, Martin, I don't want to just go to sleep yet. And I was like, God damn it, Rebecca. So because I knew what this guy was trying to do.
I know the story.
So he basically walked us all the way to the other side of Citeler to go to this little all-night buckall and get some alcohol. And just like he couldn't pay his bill in Eat and Joy, he had me buy it. So I'm like, wait a minute. So let me get this straight. Not only has he followed us home, but now I'm paying for the alcohol that which I don't care to drink, so that he can try to get lucky with Rebecca. So so sure enough, he came up with us to the apartment and then went like the next 4 hours of him regaling us with stories and us like listening and talking smack back and forth. And finally, I just turned to Rebecca when he got up and went to the bathroom. And I was like, you know what this guy's trying to do, don't you? And Rebecca was like, yeah, I know what he's trying to do. I'm like, you know, I've had it. I said, this is enough. I said, I'm putting the kibosh on this now. And he came out and he started to take off his socks and shoes or whatever. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, well, I thought, you know, since it's very close to morning and I have to get up early, that maybe I'd sleep here for a couple hours. Because earlier in the night, he was like, Martin, you look very tired. You sure you don't want to go to bed? I'm like, no, I'm fine. And so I said, hey, let me ask you a question. I said, how many Turkish households do you think you could invite yourself into where there's both a man and a woman and invite yourself to stay the night? And he's like, oh, well, I said, okay, so she and I might not be Turkish, but hello, we're in a house inside Turkey. So get your shit on and get the fuck out. And he's like, but I have to wake up and only, I was like, that's not really my problem. And so then he started putting his socks and shoes back on.
I have to be awake in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, he lived with roommates, and he told us this story about one night this girl contacted him when he was at a bar, and they were just leaving, he and his friend, and this girl contacted him, hey, what are you doing? Where are you at? And he's like, well, I'm at this bar. And she's like, oh, where is it? And he's like, I don't think you really want to come here, because she was conservative, you know. He's like, I don't think it's really maybe appropriate if you come. She's like, no, it's okay, I want to come. So she came to the bar, and it was just he and her. And then she invited herself back home to his flat. And he had roommates that he works with, like 2 or 3 roommates. And she went back and he thought, okay, well, at least, you know, I'll probably have some sex tonight. So he took her back home and she had sex with every one of his roommates except for him. And then in the morning, she put the thing back on and she rolled out. And once he told that story, I was like, well, I'm definitely making sure he doesn't get lucky tonight. Like, I don't care if I have to stay up until the sun rises. He is definitely, like, I had already made my mind up then. So.
And now my watch begins.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I didn't even care if Rebecca wanted to get lucky. By that point, I already had like dug my heels
It's like
in.
Martin is saying, like, look, Rebecca, I know maybe you might like him, but I really don't like this guy. Like,
Exactly.
Like, you know, like, fuck this guy.
I can't abide. I can't abide.
Yeah, I cannot abide by this.
That's right. So yeah,
I remember one memory I have of Rebecca is like, Rebecca, right before I left, you were like ill, and I borrowed my computer to you. and you were using it to watch like TV shows or whatever the hell girls do in their free time. And I'd got a new girlfriend, and I'd been staying at her gaff. And I remember I called Zane up and I said, like, I quit, and I ran back to like the apartment to get all my stuff.
Yeah,
And you were just there like at the couch, and I packed all my shit really quickly, and then I came in and you're on the couch like this, like watching something like, you know, a movie or something, and I just like grabbed the laptop and closed it and put it in my bag and says goodbye and just left. I just want to know, like, from your perspective, like, what did you think was going on there?
I have no idea.
And then there was a story about how you got your passport back.
Sorry, I just want to hear what Rebecca's like. What, you had no idea?
No, I was just what you said before, thinking like what I was watching. I thought maybe I was watching porn or something.
Yeah. No, because when I opened up my laptop at my girlfriend's place, it was all this weird like Brazilian fart porn, and I was like, I don't know.
But remember, let's see, what was it? So Rebecca, one day I was at work and some guys came to the door, knocked on the door. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the undercover cops.
Yeah.
Really? Wow, what's this?
Looking for Peter.
Me too. Oh, for me?
Yeah.
What happened?
They were.
Yeah.
And then they weren't convinced. They weren't convinced that I wasn't you. I had been at work at the time, actually. And so they were like, can we look around, you know? And they were like making Rebecca try and convince them that I was not the man that they were looking for. So what had happened was our fearless leader threw you out there, threw you under the bus, that your permit had expired or whatever it was, and somehow managed to get the police on you looking for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they came by the flat and Rebecca was there like, holy shit, you know.
Cops came after me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I remember like when I arrived at that job where like he or she who shall not be named, they asked for like, you know, all my paperwork, you know, diploma, blah, 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 all that stuff, and my passport. They said, oh, we got to photocopy it and send it to the government to get your thing. For 6 months, I didn't see it again. And I said to her, like, hey, I'm going back to Ireland. You said that you'd pay for a trip for us to go back to Ireland.
Yeah, you remember that.
And she says, when do you want to go? And I said, I want to go in July, and then I'll be back and I'll start work again. And she still wouldn't give me my passport. Okay. So anyway, in like April, she bought the tickets for me, which was great. And then like in May or June or something like that, I can't remember when I did this really, but my timeline's all mixed up. I just remember I went down, and before anybody got there, there was only the woman who would serve the tea. She was there opening up. Yeah, and I went in and I said, oh, I left my charger here, something like that. I can't remember the story. And I just went over to Abdullah's place and just started like opening. I like, really just fucking forced open the drawer and looked through all my stuff, like everything, and just grabbed my passport, grabbed this, and just grabbed it, and just walked out the door. And I can't remember what she said because at the time I didn't understand Turkish, but like she was kind of like, oh, where are you going? I'm like, oh. I just like ran as fast as I could, and then got back to Ireland. And then when I got back to Turkey, then after that, she was like, yeah, Peter, where are you? Are you coming back to work for me? Like, what's going on? I'm like, Zainab, I'm not sure. She's like, oh, but where are you going to live? And I was like, oh crap, I still have stuff in that apartment, and then hence the story going back to grab my laptop. But yeah, crazy time. I can't believe she sent the cops after me. That's a bit much.
Well, that's
That was
you know,
scary, man. That was
yeah,
scary.
I mean, she was she did a lot of really interesting things. I still don't have an update about our friend Mustafa / Mike.
Gonna
But
ask
he was
you.
another interesting character, Rebecca. This guy that we met who started hanging out with us. Actually, what happened was another girl came from Canada to work there, and she also did not like living in the country. She didn't like the job. She you know, a lot of complaints, and
It
but she
wasn't Rose, was it?
huh?
I
It wasn't
remember
Rose, was
Rose.
it?
No,
Rose was funny.
no. This was somebody else, and this girl, her name was Taylor. She met this guy Mike, and so he quickly transitioned from hanging out with her to hanging out with me and the boys, and which at that time was George and Jake, and then maybe Idawan was part of that, and at some point he was. Anyway, this guy had the most convincing American accent you've ever heard. And he had all of these crazy stories about, you know, where he lived and what he had done and what his ethnicity was and all of this stuff. And he hung out with us for a good long time. And he borrowed money from Jake and I over the course of time, but he had borrowed so much money that he was unable to pay us back, because whatever job he had at that time, he lost it or something. So Jake and I had the idea, you know, we should get him a job where we work, and then in this way we can guarantee we'll get paid back. So that's exactly what we did. It's exactly what we did, and it was successful. And then one day, these guys arrived at the school during the daytime whilst he was there teaching a lesson, and they approached the boss asking if he was there. And she's like, yeah, he's there, you know, he's here. And she's like, if you want, I can translate for you, you know, because he doesn't speak a lot of Turkish, and, you know, and they're like, no, the language we have doesn't need translation. So then she got scared.
This is what we heard. We were in there, but this is.
Yeah. So then she got
down.
scared. And, you know, this guy, Mike, came down the stairs rather sheepishly, and they pulled him outside and started talking to him outside by their car. And at some point, they opened up the boot of their car, and they were all looking inside the boot, talking. And then eventually Mike got in the car with them, and they drove off. And our boss was like super scared, like, oh my God, what's just happened? So she took a walk outside, and she went next door to the football park where the manager was there. And she asked if he had seen where they had gone. And he's like, yeah, they're driving around the block or whatever. And he's like, those two guys, I don't know them, but I know of them. They are not good. And she was like, oh my God. So then she immediately.
Apparently, they were in a little cafe by the football field, and the manager had video in there, and they looked at there. What was going on? Do you know what I mean? Apparently, they showed him a box, and they made him sign something just from the video. But it's all very strange and weird.
Very dodgy.
Yes, you know, something's up, like, you know. So yeah, but carry on, man.
So then, at that time, she had already decided that she was going to let me go. She had sat me down in February and told me she was going to let me go. She couldn't keep me. And then she had to change. She had to double back and change her mind. And she decided that it was too dangerous to have this guy around, particularly on the weekends when all the kids were there. So she decided to let him go and then keep me. And then I stayed there for another few months until when summer school started. And then she sat me down and dropped the bombshell that she was letting me go. And then that started my whole like saga drama thing, you know.
Yeah, into the unknown.
Can I ask, Jake, how did you leave?
I would think I'm the only person who left like kind of smoothish, I suppose. I made everything, well, like it wasn't, there's nothing really fun to say, really. I don't know, I just kind of left smoothish. I haven't spoke to the boss since Martin's court case, to be honest, because I think I was quite truthful. This all led to, like, for listeners, I suppose, it's all led to a court case. And I was there, and I did the whole put my hand on the book and speak in Turkish and then all that. But then, yeah, she wasn't happy with that. So, but I think I was quite truthful. But
the thing was, Jake, is you remember when you wanted time to go to the hospital to visit your wife, and she was rather.
That was messed up, man. Messed up.
Yeah, my wife was a bit sick, so I said, I'm not coming in Saturday. I can't. I gotta go to the hospital. And I said, look, when my wife had to have a little operation, and I said, when it's done, and maybe I'll come back in. And she just kept texting me, and I'm like, look, it's taking longer than it is, so I can't. Do you know what I mean? But when are you gonna be in? It was like, do you know what I mean? It's just, that wasn't good.
Yeah, that kind of killed it for you, actually, as I remember correctly. Like,
yeah, that was it. Yeah, I think that led to the final leaving of it and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
but it
was a good job. I mean, I did it. It was hard, but it was nice teaching people. Like, you know what I mean? But it was a lot of hours.
She treated me like a fucking king there.
Well, everybody's her favorite. Everybody's her first until they're her worst. I mean, that's how it works. True. Rebecca worked like a champ there. She went in even when she didn't have to be there and was just available. And I mean, like, you really could not complain about your work ethic, Rebecca. And then she manufactured a reason why she couldn't keep you around either. She felt like you were going to leave her high and dry, so she felt like she had to do a preemptive strike against you. Rebecca has one of those leaving in the middle of the night things too, and it was literally the middle of the night.
It's like
what happened then? Go on. Yeah, tell me.
My bags were packed, and what it was though, she had told us. She had told me that my work permit was accepted, but she wasn't going to continue working with me. I said, that's okay. I found another job in Bodrum, blah, blah, blah. And so we agreed that I would work until the following month. But little did she know that my bags were already packed at home. And then people came to pick me up at 2:00 in the morning from Bodrum, and then we drove back home.
Wow.
And then I maintained the secret the next day at work when she didn't show up for her shift. Martin, do you know where Rebecca is? And I was like, no, I mean, I saw her last night before I went to bed, and I just assumed this morning maybe she was having a lie-in or something. I don't know. Is she not there? Well, so-and-so's going over to the house now and see if she's there. And then she told me in between my first and second lesson, she's not there and all her things are gone. And I'm calling the police. And I was like, how can you?
Why is she dead? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, how can you call the police for that? I mean, she's not showing up for work. That's really no reason. And then her husband showed up, and I was like, this is not a matter that should involve the police. I'm not really sure what's happening, but I'm pretty sure, And then, and then remember, Jake, you got some messages from Rebecca. Do you remember that?
Do you know this, Rebecca? I don't know if you do know this. No, the first time we spoke, well, not really spoke, but you sent, there was something, I don't know, I was using the boss's old phone. Okay, I think we all use the boss's old phone. And I did a shift on a Saturday, and I
still have it.
I come back and I looked on the phone, and I had like 100 text messages, all right, from a random number saying like, oh, you cheating bastard, you rah, rah, rah. And I was like, what the fuck? Who's this? And so I was like, I'm not going to text back. Like, the text kept coming, the phone kept ringing. And then my girlfriend at the time, we were shopping, and who keeps calling you? Who keeps saying? I'm like, I don't know. And then she answered the phone, and it was this guy who said, oh, my girlfriend thinks I'm cheating on you with me. Can you tell her that I'm not? And I answered the phone first, and he said, oh, who is this? I said, I'm not telling you my name. I'm not giving my name. I don't know who you are. And he said, oh, look, help me out, man. Help me, And then my wife took the phone in, and that's it. It was like, yeah. So Rebecca, what was your perspective of this?
Well, from what I remember was how could I say? we were going through a rough patch back then. So, and obviously I didn't have a phone because through anger I threw my phone and stuff at the wall. So I ended up with no phone. And then the old boss lent me hers, and then so I was using that. And, so I apologize to you.
Oh, that's all right. That's so good.
Yeah, good times.
We threw you under the bus there, I think, didn't we?
Oh God.
Yeah, so this is a meeting a long time coming. I'm sorry George couldn't make it tonight. It would have been great to have his input sort of taking this, because George is the guy that replaced. So I replaced Peter. Okay, George replaced Rebecca, and then she brought in Jake just as cleanup. Because she could at that time, she really she benefited from having like three of us there. George was sort of back and forth because he was finishing, I guess, his studies in England. So he was sort of, a few months here and a few months back home. And Jake and I were like the mainstay in terms of the foreign teaching staff. And we really held the place, and it was good times, back for a while there, like what Peter was saying.
Turkey was good times then as well.
Yeah, it was pretty easy, and we worked a lot of hours.
Despite the job, I mean, we had a good laugh. Like it was a good year. Like me and obviously like ended up me and Martin like living together. Everybody, like Peter, you went off to live with, I don't know, your girlfriend or wife now, I'm not sure.
No, we broke up. It's finished.
Okay, I apologize.
No, it's good. It's great.
And then obviously like Brianna and Umit, they left. They got their own apartment and stuff. And
oh my God, living with those two. God help me. And if they ever watch this podcast, I don't care. Jesus Christ. Difficult bunch to live with, I'll tell you that much. All right. Umut comes in, okay, and I finally get the big room, okay? And he's with his Turkish Northern Irish accent saying, I up here by I got the wife here and blah blah blah, and I'm like, man, I've been waiting a long time for this big room. Okay, I go back to Ireland, I come back and he's taken the room. He just moved all my shit out.
That's right.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's the kind of personality.
I don't even know these people, but that's not acceptable. That's not.
And I just said, okay, I'm out of here, because I remember before they came, I was living my best life. It was the best month of my life.
Less than a minute, guys.
Okay, and then a guy who worked for who shall not be named, came in one morning, and I had a girl with me that night, and banging at the door, and she's like, "Who the hell is that?" I'm like, "I don't know." And it's the guy who worked for her, just coming in, filming. I have to film the apartment for the next people that come. And I'm shirtless, okay? And I'm wearing my jocks. And he's filming with the phone. And I'm going against the wall, dude, don't fucking film me trying to cover myself, And he goes to the bedroom. I'm like, dude, do not go in there. Please do not go in there. Film it another day. Anyway, Rebecca, good to see you.
Yeah, it's been great. I'd like to have that female perspective in our One Chimp and Typing friends as much as possible. And we all share it, this great thing about you guys coming from different parts of, those islands over there. And I come from the other side of the world. It's been a hell of an experience. And we certainly have a laugh, and we always have for years and years. And we're all just puzzle pieces of this mosaic, of shared experiences here in Denizli. Some of us still slugging it out. But
we're winning, Martin. We're winning.
That's right. This has been One Chimp and Friends of the Two Chimps Typing Network. I want to thank everybody coming out. My friends Jake and Peter and Rebecca, all the way from Bodrum. So thanks everybody, and we'll peace out. We're on Anchor FM and YouTube at Two Chimps Typing. So
Rebecca watches porn.
Peace out, everybody. Cheers.